we're going into a season where we naturally think about giving. We should be in that season all year round, but for some reason, when fall hits, we automatically start thinking about giving. And the unconditional generosity, as an example of what we do for Feed My People. It's an opportunity to share our bounty unconditionally. As we are heading into autumn, we all know that the leaves are going to come down in droves, and it's a time where you might think about helping somebody. Maybe help rake them up or mow them down. Either way. But it's not because you were asked or you need to. It's an opportunity to give of yourself unconditionally. And October is also a time to start thinking about trick-or-treaters. Unconditionally. We give these little costume-dressed people candy, and we expect nothing in return, except maybe a joke or two. That's what we want. And this started long before I ever met Bob. And it continued for 10 years after we remained living in his house. Every fall, Bob would bake an apple pie for the widow next door. Can't you smell that apple pie? He would unconditionally bake her this pie, wouldn't let me help. He would just do it, and he didn't expect anything in return. He just did it unconditionally. And did you ever notice that the mail in the mailbox starts getting fuller in the fall with charities asking for your donation? Well, we used to give several, a little bit in each envelope to several different charities. Now, we give to MSC. Because when we showed up, we received unconditional acceptance and love. And that's what makes us want to give back, is that unconditional giving. Now, where did all this start? What was the original foundation for this? Well, let me tell you. About 3 weeks ago, I was in this small market, and there was this young boy at the register ahead of me. And my first thought was, geez, he's awful young to be in here without a parent. And he had 2 cans of coffee and 2 cans of creamer, of the large ones, as if his mom was sitting out in the car and he was told to go in and get this. So he did. And at the register, the clerk said, $42.24. And he just stood there, frozen. And I looked at him, and you could just see the color in his face change, and the panic set in. And he looked up at this clerk, and with the voice of a child, he said, "Is it on sale?" And the clerk goes, "Nope, that was last week." Just real sharp and being the adult that he was. And without hesitation, I just went, "Hey, I'll pay for it." And this kid looked at me and he said, "Really?" And I said, "Sure." And he goes, "Ma'am, how am I going to pay you back?" And I said, "You're not. You do something nice for somebody else that you see. Just do it for somebody else." And he went, "Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am." And So I gave the clerk my money and let the kid have his purchase. And as he walked towards the door, all of a sudden, and I'm watching him out of the corner of my eye, he turned around and he yelled at the top of his voice, "Thank you, ma'am!" And I can honestly say, as he ran out the door, for a brief second, I was caught in my tracks. Because when you do something nice for somebody, you don't normally get that kind of a reaction. But my feelings and my thoughts first went to what was waiting for him in the car had he not come out with those purchases, and how small $2.42 was to me. So I gave it unconditional, and what I received was that "thank you, ma'am" as he walked out the door. So in closing, think about what you can do unconditionally, because you never know what it can mean for someone else. Thank you.